Hi guys, and welcome back to Pass the Move. And for today's episode, we are back in our brilliant Bayer Leverkusen series with the pretty important game, to be honest. I mean, it's just Ingolstadt, who are actually having an incredible season themselves. They're in 8th place, so it's really important for us to win today to, open up a gap between ourselves. We're of course in 7th, but we have a game in hand over Gelsenkirchen, and should we win our game, we can climb up to 5th at least, and possibly close down the points to at least one of these teams, and hopefully Dortmund as well. But the point is, 6 points off the top. In 7th place, we're not doing too poorly. We are meeting expectations by being in the Europa League spots rather, and I think it's going fairly well. We've definitely improved since the start of the season. We just have to keep continuing our winning streak to eventually catch up to Dortmund, and who knows, maybe we can actually challenge for the title. But for now, we have to take it step by step, just try and get back into the Europa League spots and keep winning so that the teams above us can drop points and we can keep climbing. And maybe even get Champions League football once more, which will certainly help with our finances, of course. Speaking of which, we are of course doing okay, not too bad at all. 13 million. This season has been a profit of 30 million, and I think as the season progresses we should definitely improve, and hopefully if we do get more Champions League football, then the finances should improve as well overall. Sponsors and debts and all that sort of business kicks in later on, as well as where you end in the German division, the Bundesliga. That helps of course with all the money and whatnot, so I think we'll be okay once that sort of end of season business kicks in. But yeah, those of you who are wondering what's going on with the FM18 or my FM18 plans, I feel like the beta or whatever you want to call it has come out, but I don't really want to start any sort of let's plays until the actual game comes out. I already bought the beta, I'm playing it for myself, my own personal save. But in terms of actually showing you guys a series or whatever, then I think I'll save that for later, and that should start once this save is done, because that just kind of makes sense not to just drop FM17 entirely just because FM18 came out and just completely forget about this save when we've been doing quite well lately. So once this save dies out, then we'll start with FM18 of course, and I'll definitely be starting as well team guides, and I want to kind of do it division by division, not just, I think I did it last FM17, I did it top 5 teams of each division or something, but this time I actually want to take it division by division and actually show every single team. So I'll be starting in England of course, sort out team guides and tips and tactics and all that sort of business for every single team in the Premier League, and then move on to other divisions. And of course when I'm done with, for example, top 5 leagues, Germany, England, Italy, Spain, France, maybe even Netherlands, then I'll actually come back to England and do some of the lower division teams as well. I feel like those are quite popular, maybe the other countries' lower divisions too, but first try and get the top 5 leagues, and then build our way from there. But I'll definitely be having let's plays as well. I think I'll cover a top division first and then do a let's play, then cover another top division first and another let's play, and so on and so forth. I think that's a better plan, so that way I don't actually get bored about what I'm doing, and at the same time there's a variety of videos on show too. But for now, it's all about today, and in terms of what happened since the last episode, so we are in February. It's been a bit of a break, but of course the German division has a winter break, and we did show you the game against Club Brugge. So after that match followed a disappointing loss against Hoffenheim. Considering where they are in the league, you can kind of be okay with this result. Of course it hurts a little bit that they're only 4 points ahead of us, and if we won that point difference wouldn't be there. Having said that, after that we won every single game after. Of course it's just 4 first division games, but it's nice to see that we're winning friendlies as well. So we beat Frankfurt 2-1 with Stefan really stepping up for us. Kevin Volland as well scoring the 62nd minute to put us comfortably ahead. Well, not comfortably ahead, but at least we're ahead, and we managed to hold on. We also beat Red Bull, I forgot what it was called, Lazenberg or something, RBL anyways, and we beat them away from home 2-0 against Stefan and Volland, the heroes of that game. Friendlies stopped the winter break, so we've did some friendlies here, home friendlies, just to get some money. Gelsenkirchen 3-1 win That was very important as well, especially considering that they're supposed to be our direct rivals and they are above us as well. Game in hand, but it just points that it's an important game to win, and we did that well. Hertha convincing 2-0 away from home as well. Stefan once more on the score sheet, and Hakan also getting himself a goal in the 64th minute to make things comfortable for us. So yeah, we do have the first division, but this is after the January transfer window, so there are some updates in terms of transfers. We'll have a quick look. So in terms of the ins, Paul Dummett, Lucas Zidane and Paul Seguin were all done during the summer transfer window. The January transfer window managed to bring in Emmanuel Mamana, a centre-back who has a lot of potential. He's ready for the first division. He's going to be a rotation option for us we have some players ready just in case anyone gets injured. We also managed to bring us Lucas Prato, finally a striker capable of doing some damage here. He's not entirely comfortable with the deep-lying forward support role in terms of his his preferences, but in terms of his actual attributes, he's perfect for the role. Absolutely, he's very comfortable he's actually most comfortable playing as a shadow striker, so that's perfect for us. He can play in a number of different roles, which helps in case anyone gets injured, but for me, I see him as a deep lying forward on support, a leading player for the division. He's a shadow striker. He can possibly even play as a Rodomantor, but if we needed an inside forward too. But yeah, he will be our striker. In terms of the outs, the main ones really, Javier Hernandez we sold in the summer. It's actually Admir Mehmedi. We finally sold him to Colin for 5 million. He's actually worth a lot more, to be honest, if you ask me. He's got great stats and attributes, and it's just unfortunately it didn't work out for us. We just have too many good players in our position for us to actually make use of him, and he wasn't playing well in the striker position, which was the only position we needed him in, and so we sold him and brought in Lucas Prato instead. It says 10.75 million, but to be honest, we bought Lucas Prato for much less initially, at least, and about half of the fee here is actually going to be paid for over the span of 48 months. And considering we spent 13 million and only we made, have a healthy profit here, basically healthy net spend, and that's all that matters. Tin as well, asked to leave. I'm very disappointed to let him go. Croatian international with tons of potential. He would have been one of the best players in our club. I would have slotted in perfectly with Jonathan Tah. But unfortunately for us, he asked to leave. He wasn't happy with his game time at all. Let's have a look actually for how many appearances he made. Just 3 appearances, which is kind of fair enough. But at the same time, he knew his role was as a rotation option. And when I did give him game time, he doesn't take his chances. We actually started the season with Omar Toprak and Dragovic as our first teamers. As you can see, even Dragovic hasn't complained about his game time, and he's only played 4 starts, so it's all about the player. But yeah, when I gave Jonathan Tah an opportunity to shine, he did exactly that, and he's managed to grab himself 21 appearances and a 7.28 average rating. And that's just the difference between Tah and Tin. When Tin had his opportunity, he didn't take it. Of course, he definitely could have had more opportunities had he been a bit more patient. At the same time, 3 appearances is nothing. But it's just about how he performed during those appearances. It wasn't enough to convince me to keep him on. So yeah, he's moved on because I knew he would just disrupt the dressing room. I tried to hold on till the last few days of January to see if he could change his mind, but he didn't want to. And so I just decided to sell him off and bring in Emmanuel Mamana as his backup instead. So we filled in 2 spots. There's a bit of an issue now because the transfer window's over, but Kevin Campbell's asked to leave, and Jiangsu have come in with a transfer bid for him. So it's the Chinese Super League, so I'm not sure whether that transfer will go through still. But if it does, that means we're short in supply in the defensive midfield spot. Having said that, Kevin is a leading player, so he'll be a bit of a miss, but at the same time, he wasn't entirely comfortable with the defensive midfield registrar role. His attributes suit it, and he definitely could be a good player for us as soon as he adjusts. But losing him won't be the worst case ever, because we do still have Charles, and we can bring in a youngster with potential who can eventually overtake Kevin Campbell's role as well. So it kind of gives more of a balance to the team, but obviously a player of Kevin's quality is a miss should he actually end up leaving. But yeah, selling him, I know I keep going back and forth, but yeah, selling him for 19 million and we're not able to reinvest it. But at least we're getting the money for it. It'll help us with finances, and in the summer we can invest. There's also a couple of players who are capable of filling in defensive midfield spots if they actually do become ready for the first division. So someone like Atakan, for example, he's very close to becoming a first team. He's ready for second division. If he could just get some good games under his belt, he can play quite comfortably as a registrar, or if we needed him, I think he'd be okay with the deep defensive midfield. He looks like he's better suited for the defensive midfield position, but we would need him as a backup, so he would suit the registrar role, as you mentioned, instead of Kevin Campbell. So that's kind of all the updates in terms of the team and the roles and the schedule, all that sort of business. We haven't actually played Prato just yet. Stefan's still been in good form, so no need for me to drop him. Hakan's suspended for today's game. Also tried to get rid of Ramazan Ozkan as well as Danny Da Costa. Unfortunately, I couldn't get rid of either of them, even on loan, to be honest. But at least Ramazan's going to be leaving, and Costa we can try and sell during the summer again. But for now, let's send them back down to the under-19s. We don't need them taking up these positions. So for Hakan, we'll need to replace him. We can bring on Liam Bailey, who just got back from injury, be a decent substitute off the bench. Kai Havertz is the one who's been taking over Hakan of late because of his incredible performances lately. 8 starts, 4 goals, 1 assist. Can't ask for much more from a shadow striker, really. And he's growing into that position and that role really well. And he can definitely be a key player for us. Potential to be one of the best players at the club, and that's all we need. So, more or less a strong team. We can talk more about who's playing after the players warm up, but it will be, of course, an important game against Ingolstadt. We can show you as well the season preview, just to give you an idea about where this team are actually supposed to be, and just to give you an idea of how well they've played this season. So they're in 8th, but prediction was 17th, so they're relegation candidates, and yet they find themselves within touching distance of a Europa League position. That's incredible for them. It'll be a tough game today without a doubt, but we should definitely still be favourites. Odds are in our favourite, and the match analysis thinks that we'll be winning as well. Apparently they have some misses as well, and it looks like they've made up for it by playing a bit of defensive formation here, and hopefully my team can do enough to take them apart. So Stefan starting, Prato on the bench if we need him. Kai, we don't have a striker and attacking midfield first choice players, but at least the wingers are first choice footballers for us. They're important for us, of course, and so that's good to see. We've also got our first choice fullback, so that'll help. Bender's back as well. He's finally come in for Julian, who actually is a bit unlucky to miss out. He's been in good form, but his fitness, he's had a bit of an issue with his fitness, so Bender's come in, and since coming in he's done well, so I haven't been able to drop him once more for Julian. I think he's taken his warning well after being dropped, so he's determined this time to actually keep his spot. Tar and Toprak are kind of our first choice at the moment. Dragovic is actually supposed to be partnering Toprak, but the way Tar's been in incredible form this season, it's just tough to drop him, and he's kind of just become a first team player anyways. I think if I have a look, he will be better in ability now. Yep, he's better than Toprak and Dragovic both, so that's kind of it. He is a first teamer now. So kind of a strong team. It's our attack that has a bit of a worry, but hopefully the inside forwards can take some responsibility instead, and we should be able to deal with Ingolstadt's threat as well. Alright, so expect nothing but a win. We are favourites. We do need to keep this winning run going. There's also actually, I did want to show you guys, I've got some key games being played as well, not just ourselves. So we're playing Ingolstadt, but for example, Hamburg are playing Frankfurt, right? So they're going to be fighting for the relegation, to try and avoid relegation, of course. They'll be fighting for their lives. But it's not just about Hamburg, about any other team. Bayern, for example, are playing a relegation team, but Dortmund and RBL are facing each other off. That'll be interesting. And I think, where is it? Hoffenheim are playing BMG. BMG are definitely not supposed to be down there. They were one of the favourites. So that'll be a tough game despite the league positions. And yeah, it's kind of an important time to win, and at the same time it's been a while since the last episode, so why not show you just what's been going on. Alright, so we'll quickly switch to extended, show you goals, and let's hope we get a good game here against a team who are exceeding expectations. So we're kind of just about meeting expectations from the board, at least. The players themselves want Champions League football, and that's what they aimed for. When I told them at the beginning of the season that the board want us to get Europa League football, they said that apparently I'm not being ambitious enough. The group are an ambitious group. When I look at the squad personality, it's all very ambitious. So that's good to see, but at the same time we need to actually match ambition with ability. So hopefully we can do that here. In today's game as well as just in general in the season. Charles on the ball though. Volland. Kai, who's had an incredible season. Stefan's dropping deep well. Bender, can he find... Yes, he finds Charles comfortably. Bellarabi on the ball now. takes his man on and then has a long range shot that was very comfortable for Hansen. He'll have to do better if he wants to get his name on the score sheet, to be honest. But decent start so far. Charles with the corner. Good ball into the box. Tar. Volland. Should be volleying that, really. It's considered the clear-cut chance according to Match Engine, but I mean, it was a free header, but he should have been shooting that from that distance. He won't really be able to head that. Good tackle from Wendell. Loses the ball quite stupidly though. Lecky was apparently going to lead the counter-attack that amounted to nothing. Henriks. Easy through ball into Charles. Bellarabi, a bit of deflection. I thought that might have gone in, but his shot was definitely going to be on target by the looks of it at least. And we get a corner to keep the pressure on Ingolstadt after this good start. But we need a goal to have something to show for it. Alright. 4-1-4-1 though is always going to be tough to break down. Not only are you playing a defensive midfielder, but their wide men are deep as well, which means they're part of the whole defensive structure. You can expect their striker to be isolated, and we've seen that so far. Bellarabi though almost found Stefan, who would have just had a tap in. They clear the ball, but there's no one to really pick up the pieces for them, and Omar Toprak finds Bender quite comfortably. Alright, Bender, don't do anything stupid. Easy ball. There you go, Wendell. Charles, the registrar. It's a bit weird that Bender came from the right position that he's in. Stefan! Yes! I mean, it's just so tough for Prato at the moment to come in. Stefan's just been in incredible form, and it's unlucky. But then again, we just signed Prato, so you can't expect to entirely just walk into the side. I think we signed him on the very last day or so. I actually can't remember, to be honest. But we did sign him last month, basically. So just the beginning of the second month. So, you know, he can't expect to just start straight away. He is supposed to be a leading player for the division, and his squad status is a first teamer. So yeah, it's just about him. When he does get his chance, he takes it. So I think we already talked about whether we want to keep Stefan or Mehmedi. So obviously, as you guys realized, we did keep Stefan and sell Mehmedi instead. But I do eventually want to kind of see out Stefan's time at the club. You know, I didn't have plans for him to have an important role. It's credit to him that he's become an important player for us, even though I didn't plan it for this to happen. So that's down to him and his performances. But he is only considered a decent player for the division, and his ability is likely to continue to drop because of his age. And his contract does end in the summer, so I'm considering whether just let him go on a free, or whether to sign a contract for him and then sell him, or even just sign a contract and keep him on for one more season. It depends on other positions, in truth. I think because we're lacking in other areas, like you know, we now need a centre back because we only have a Loney currently. We have a left back Loney, a right back Loney, I think. So the defence really needs to be restructured, and I think that's kind of it. So if we can get the defence sorted out and still have some decent money left over, then maybe we won't need Stefan. We can sell him off. But I think I will definitely give him a contract extension, just a single more year, just to be safe that we actually have the numbers. Kai though should be finishing that off, and we would have been comfortably ahead coming into half time. But instead, a weak shot gets saved quite easily by Hansen, who's had his goal peppered really. 10 shots in our favour, 5 were on target, and Ingolstadt are going to need a top performance from their goalkeeper to keep us out for any longer at least. Kai does well to find Henriks, or almost did, but Henriks does win the tackle. Back to Volland. Deflection almost gave him a goal, and Stefan was a bit slow off the blocks there to actually get on the the rebound. So they survive. Having said that, there is one more highlight by the looks of it. And there's a poor throw in, but Tar picks up the pieces. Charles back to Bender. Defensive midfielders playing with each other. Safely back to the ball playing defender. Bender holds on to it a bit, and Volland's on the ball. Loses out, but Henriks is there to clean up his mess. For some reason, he's cutting inside. Back to Charles. And he goes for the long-range shot instead of playing smart. We're 1-0 up. I don't think we have to play any real risky football, so I think at half-time I definitely will tell the players to just play a bit more safe. So we'll look for the overlap, we'll work the ball into box and dribble less, so we're not taking any silly chances or silly shots, and just no risk taking at all, so that Ingolstadt can't hit us on the counter. I think we've done really well. I'd like to say we can do better, which we definitely can, but at the moment Ingolstadt aren't threatening us by any measure, so it just makes sense to compliment the players and hope that they kick on in the second half. You know, a single shot to Ingolstadt's name and that wasn't even on target. No half chances, no clear-cut chances. They're doing okay with possession, but you can kind of expect that because they are taking advantage of all the positions that are our weaknesses, basically. So centre midfielders are weakness because we don't have anyone to position. We've got defensive midfielders and attacking midfielders, so that spot's kind of open, so it makes sense that they have possession there. Also, we're playing really high attacking wingers, and they're playing a bit of a deeper winger position, so that they will take advantage of that space. The fullbacks are probably a little bit more defensive in comparison to ours, who are wingbacks on attack. You know, look how high they play. So it just kind of makes sense that they're holding on to a decent bit of possession as well. Bellarabi though, what can Bender do? He's a bit slow on the ball sometimes. Finally plays the risky pass to Henriks, and Henriks puts a good ball into the box. That's quite a save from Hansen, to be honest. It looked like it was going in and he kind of just saved it behind his head. At least that's what showed on the match engine replay. Corner though. Bit of a mess there, but Omar Toprak's there. Bellarabi. I feel like all his shots have been blocked entirely, and Bellarabi needs to work on his finishing by the looks of things. Another corner though. And Hansen collects easily. We need the second goal to really tie this game up. Otherwise Ingolstadt can hit us on the counter. We're playing on control, and as I mentioned, we're playing a bit safer now after half time, but the likelihood is Ingolstadt, especially if we're winning by just a single goal, Ingolstadt are going to try and come out in a bit, probably towards the 80th minute or so, and we need to try and avoid that so that we can actually we need another goal so we avoid the possibility of them scoring, because if they do score, suddenly it's 2 points dropped in a very dominant performance by my players. So we need that second goal desperately. Omar. Charles. Does a smart thing out to Wendell. Closed down quite quickly though, but Wendell does find Kai. It's back to Charles. And their team is playing incredibly defensive. Every man behind the ball, other than the striker. And even he almost dropped on Bender there. So it is going to require some patience here, and we need someone smart to play a good ball through. Bellarabi. He does exactly that. Volland free. And that should have been 2. And definitely the second clear-cut chance of the game. Ingolstadt survive for a little while longer. 1-0. Who can we take off? Alright, so Kai's had a bad game, but Hakan's not here to actually bring him on. Volland, a bit quiet, but he's a first teamer, so we should give him a bit more faith. Bellarabi's the same. Stefan's not tired. I think we can afford to wait a little bit longer before making any substitutions. We do desperately need some help from the bench though, so we can grab our second goal and, get our 3 points comfortably. 3 players on yellow cards is never good to see. And Ingolstadt are the ones who are attacking for once here. 2 shots to their name now, and they're going to be looking to make it 3. I guess, and apparently that's on target too. More of a deflection, but I guess they'll take it. And that's the end of that highlight. Pointless one, really. Alright, so Volland's had a terrible game, so we'll bring on Bailey. He needs the game time anyways. Who else? Kai's tired now at this point, but we can't take him off. Bender on the yellow and tired. We'll bring on Julian. I'd love to have left Bender on, but he's on a yellow and he's not. If he's going to start getting tired, he's going to start putting in silly tackles. I think we'll just keep those 2 substitutions for now. Maybe Bailey can make the difference for us here. I'm hoping Julian, of course, as well, but the likelihood is that Bailey will get himself on the score sheet, or at least assist. And that will be a good performance off the bench after his recent injury. Julian on the ball though. Just holds on to it, finds Bailey, his fellow substitute. Safely to Kai. Back to Bailey. Can he find his fullback? No, he's inside forward, cut in. He's not even looking at his fullback. Charles though to Kai. Risky to Wendell, but Wendell does well to win it. And Charles, we are playing it quite safe, a bit too safe for my liking. I think we need to take a bit of a risk here at this point. Bailey though. Bellarabi, long range shot, almost creeping in, but Hansen does well to get down and shove that out wide. Corner though, we can still threaten. Not with a cross like that. Matip quite easily deals with that. And it's a bit surprising. Is that Matip from Liverpool? It is, isn't it? Is it because it's FM17 Matip hasn't moved yet? I thought Matip's been at Liverpool for more than a year now. Either way, 78 minutes and Ingolstadt are trying to change the scoreline here, and it's making me a bit nervy, to be honest. Hartman. Oh, defender there. Who's that? Omar Toprak. He's a bit lucky he missed that clearance because Leno collected it quite easily. And a bit of a mix-up there would have left. Having said that, Eckstein. God, I couldn't even finish my sentence with that amount of errors there. And that's why I don't really like the defensive midfield position too much, because sometimes they play some silly football when they're picking up the ball. They come a bit too deep for my liking. Anyways, I'd love to have taken off Kai now. See, if we had Hakan on the bench, if he wasn't stupidly suspended, it'd be the perfect opportunity to bring him on. But instead, Bellarabi will get substituted. He's getting a bit tired, not had the best game either. 6.9 is a solid performance, but we're looking for more than solid. We're looking for fine performances only. It's tough to get into our team, and we need only top performers. Kai's form, to be honest, has been dropping a little bit of late. He has had a good season overall, but alright, almost scared me there with that free kick. We should see this game out comfortably. I mean, Ingolstadt have come out a little bit more now, so we should actually be scoring as well. But at the same time, we should see it out comfortably because they haven't had any threat on our goal at all. But we're playing some stupid bits of football at the moment, being very complacent and silly. And if we were to drop 2 points, this would feel more like a defeat than would a draw should Ingolstadt score now. I'm actually tempted to go into contain. I don't know whether I'm being smart or whether I'm just being nervous. Brandt is there to pick up the pieces quite well, but it's not over yet. Eggestein. Sounds like a, I don't know, Halloween themed Einstein, if that makes any sense. Anyways, Roger, really good through ball to his teammate. Oh no! Yes, okay, thank God that was offside. Lecky was offside. And they've gone into attacking, and I'm not liking this recent bit of chances they're finding. So we're going to go into contain and see this game out. 3 more minutes. We should be able to do that, can't we? Apparently, maybe not. 50 seconds left. Bailey does really well to win it. He's going to go solo for sure. Take the shot. Oh, he's tackled Kai though. Alright, that's good enough. Let's see out this game. I know my players are going to take the corner like as if we still need to score and not look out for the game. But 15 seconds is unlikely they'll be able to counter by then. Charles. Good ball please this time. It is quite a good one, but Tar's late in attacking it, and Brandt's going to try his own shot. Nope, he goes safely back to Charles. Another decent ball into the box, and that's kind of just gone out for a goal kick. And that should be 3 points to our name. There you go, full time. 1-0 at home. Not the best of performances, but good enough to get a result. And I think I agree, my assistant will tell them a bit off, I think. Okay, they're fired up. I thought someone would be upset. They were getting a bit complacent and letting Ingolstadt into the game a bit there. I think we complimented them at half-time, so that's why we got away with the criticism at full-time. But, yeah. Dortmund have beaten Red Bull, so that sends them up to 43 points. They're actually kind of killing it in the league lately. Let's see who else was there. Köln, what have they done? They've only drawn, so at least now we've already cut down the points to 2. And if we win our next game, and either Köln or Hoffenheim, who've lost to BMG, that would mean we would be in the Champions League spots. So we just have to keep continuing this good winning run. Bayern are yet to play their game, but let's hope for a loss, or even a draw for that matter, and that way we're still within shouting distance, or touching distance really, to the Champions League positions. To top of the table though, points difference remains the same, 6 points, so we just need Dortmund to lose 2 times. We can actually inflict one of those losses ourselves later on in the season, where we still have to play them and Bayern, so we can actually still really save our season and put that horrible start behind us. So let's have a look at the schedule. So this is how the beginning of our season looked like. 4 losses in a row. And then we also managed to draw the next 2 games. So in the first 5 games of the season, we didn't get a single win. In the Bundesliga at least. Juventus result you can kind of understand. But anyways, in terms of the Champions League, I'm sure you guys have noticed we did draw Sevilla. I think I'll be showing you that game, but I'm still debating whether to show you the first knockout round or the first leg or the second leg. We are exceeding expectations, but do the first division games matter more, or does the Sevilla game matter more? So I don't know whether to show you Bayern, for example, again. I think I showed you Bayern last time we beat them, so maybe we'll show you Sevilla instead. But it's all about, will we show you the first leg or the second leg? We're at home first. I feel like I should show you the away game instead, because even if we do win this game, then the away game can very likely be turned on their head by Sevilla at home. Thankfully, we didn't draw anyone tougher. I mean, look at the opponents we could have drawn: Atletico Madrid, PSG, Tottenham, even FCP would have been a bit tough. I feel like Sevilla is a bit of a lighter draw. It would have been nice to have got on PSV or Dynamo Kiev, or even Leicester for that matter. But yeah, Sevilla are definitely a tough team, but I feel like we can match them. And I think I will show you the second leg of that, so I think that's when we'll be back. But yeah, I think that's all for today's episode. So if you did enjoy it, then of course please do hit the like button and subscribe for more daily Football Manager 2017 content. And as always guys, thank you all very much for watching.